Okay, so once you get your sprayer and you've unboxed it, first thing you need to do is charge your battery completely full. Second thing you need to do is remove the nozzle that comes with the sprayer. Pick you up a roll of Teflon tape at Lowe's or Home Depot. This stuff is super duper cheap. I mean, you get a roll for less than $1. And here's the trick to putting on Teflon tape. You can see how I've got it coming off the top of the roll, like so. And I'm going to roll it. Let's see, this would be clockwise. I'm going to roll it clockwise or to the right, giving it a little bit of tension, making sure it gets down in those threads, maybe 2 or 3 trips around. And once I do it, I'm going to take my fingers and kind of mash it down into the threads like that. This little bit of excess, you can just pull it off. It's just going to get in the way. All right. You've purchased your sprayer nozzle assembly. You're going to simply take it, thread it on. Now, all of these sprayer nozzle assemblies, I put every one of these together by hand. And I think I got them pretty tight, but you might find one here and there that might leak, and you may have to re-thread it, take it apart and put some new pipe thread Teflon tape and re-thread it. So you want it lined up with the elbow. You can see there's an elbow here. You want that kind of facing the ground. That way it's nice and straight in line, because you can see the tip here is where the product actually comes out. Now the way you want the whole thing lined up straight, so it may take a little bit of adjusting, like so. Let's take an overhead shot of this. I'll show you what I mean. So here's your sprayer nozzle assembly on the handle. You can see I've got the handle pointed straight up. You can see how it should look, just like that. You should almost not be able to see the yellow part. And if I turn it sideways, see how it's supposed to look? So when you get to this point, you're ready to calibrate this bad boy. So let's work on calibration. And of course, I pre-calibrated it. I went through a lot of trouble to find out what nozzle and what nozzle body to use, but you need to calibrate it. You need to learn how to do this. It's very, very simple. So let's get to it. Okay, so for this demonstration, I'm using the 105E, which has a slightly bigger battery than the 2-gallon model, but they both work exactly the same. This one, you actually pop this open, pump the battery in, and lock it back. Now, the 4-gallon model, I actually had a little bit of trouble priming it. So if you have trouble getting it primed for the first time, you need to go back to the Sprayers Plus website. They have a really cool video on there that shows you how to prime it. You have to reach down in here and take a piece out and turn the thing upside down or something. But you check out the Sprayers Plus website. They'll show you how to do that. So fully charged battery before you attempt to do this. And we're going to turn it on. Like so. Now you've heard this one, it turned on and it kind of cut off. That's simply because once the pressure builds up so high, the motor automatically shuts off. So let's see how this sprayer nozzle assembly sprays. So I'm hoping you can see that pretty good. I'll back the camera up right here. I'm actually doing this in my garage because it is frigid cold, freezing cold. So I can't do it outside, but you can see here, I'm going and tape measuring out. Now when you use this, you're gonna see a spray pattern. When you're gonna play around with this with water. And you're gonna see a spray pattern that is very thick and dense for the most part, but out on the outer edges, it's a little bit less condensed spray droplets. Well, that's perfect. That's the way I wanted it. That's your overlap coverage. So you overlap a little bit on your spray. But you can see the thick, dense part is going to be right around 7 feet or so, 7.5 feet. And then you'll have about a half foot of coverage on each side. So it's going to put you right around 8 foot or so. And again, with what you're spraying, pre-emergent and fungicides and soil biostimulants, if you're off a little bit, it's completely okay. Don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. It's not like we're spraying high-powered post-emergent herbicides, so it's not a big deal. If your application's off a little bit, I kind of made this dummy-proof so that anybody could do it. Let's get down here and look at this spray pattern a little closer. All right, so you can see it here. It's a little more condensed and a little more thick. And as we move over, you can see how the droplets kind of get a little sparse. That's fine. This part of the spray pattern right here is going to be your overlap. Meaning when you go down and turn around and come back, this same area coming back down is going to overlap each other. So that'll kind of equal out and make 2 of these will equal 1 of these is roughly how it works out, if that makes sense. So let's get this thing calibrated. Okay, so we now know that our sprayer nozzle assembly and the Sprayers Plus sprayer allows us to spray 8 feet wide in one pass. So I want to know what length do we need to make 1,000 square foot? Well, 8 times 125 is 1,000 square feet. So that means at spraying 8 foot wide, we can walk 125 feet and you've covered 1,000 square feet of area. So next, we're going to find out how long it takes us to, or in time, and how many seconds does it take us to put 1 quart of water in this mixing jug using the sprayer nozzle assembly. All right, so what I'm gonna do is take my stopwatch here. We'll back out of here. Where's the stopwatch at on this thing? This is my wife's phone. I'm not as good with it. Okay, here we go. Here's the stopwatch. We're basically gonna start and stop, and we're gonna time and see how long it takes to put 1 quart of water in this spray jug. So here we go. And this is actually calibrating. This is the calibration part of this. All right, go. And 1 quart is 32 ounces. All right, 32 seconds. All right, 32 seconds. So this is really important. All right, so we know that we're 8 foot wide times 125 foot long. That's our 1,000 square feet. The other thing we know is that it takes 32 seconds. Now yours may be a little different. All these sprayers probably aren't identically alike. So yours may take 33 seconds or 30 seconds, I don't know. That's why you need to calibrate your sprayer with the sprayer nozzle assembly. So in my situation, 32 seconds, I got a quart of material in 32 seconds. So now what I have to do, and what you have to do, is put the backpack sprayer on, put some water in the tank, put your sprayer nozzle assembly on, and you have to train yourself to walk 125 feet in 32 seconds. That's the tricky part. That's where these machines and things, Permagreen, Z-Spray, Ground Logic, all these commercial type application machines have an advantage over this, is they have set speeds, meaning you give it the gas, it'll only go so fast. So it's a set speed. Well, we're humans and we might walk a different speed, so that's why you have to train yourself. You'll have to get out there, backpack on your back, and you want to be consistent with your height of the nozzle assembly off the ground. I recommend about 12 inches, 12 to 14, 16 inches, somewhere in that range. You want to keep this off the ground that high, 12 to 14 inches. All right. So you need to put your sprayer on, have your phone or stopwatch. You need to measure out 125 feet using a tape measure, a roller, or whatever. I wouldn't walk it off. I would try to be more precise than that. And you need to train yourself to walk 125 feet in the amount of seconds that it took to put a quart of material in your jug. So once you do that, hey, you're ready to spray. You can read the label. I'll help you read the label on these products on the Academy, and you can mix them in this tank, and you can spray your yard until your heart's content. This is really good for these biostimulants. Really, really good. Our surfactant, our natural adjuvant that we're selling on the Academy. This stuff flows like a champ through here. I've tried all this stuff. I've used every single one of them in the spray. Fungicides, they all do absolutely wonderful. So now, my yard is 17,000 square feet. I can spray my yard in 13 minutes. 13 minutes. That's nothing. I mean, I can come in from a day at work. Heck, I want to put some biostimulant out. I come in here and mix it up. Take me about 5 or 6 minutes to mix it up. Go out and spray it, and in 20 minutes, I've sprayed almost a third of an acre of turf. So that's a big advantage with this sprayer nozzle assembly. So all the videos moving forward inside the Academy, excuse me, if you purchase a fungicide, we're going to use this sprayer to spray fungicides. If you purchase the pre-emergent from us, we're going to use this sprayer teaching you how to spray the pre-emergent. And you're going to get my rates that I've been working on for years, getting those perfect rates dialed in to give you the maximum amount of coverage with your pre-emergent, but it cut off in time for seeding. So biostimulants. Man, I spray my yard once a month with biostimulants during the course of the growing season. That's humic acid, kelp, and fulvic acid, and some other things. You can purchase those on the Academy site as well. And all those things you buy have a video attached to it. Once you make a purchase, you get the video, and it'll show you how to mix it, and you know how to go out and spray your yard. So I'm excited about this. This is a neat deal right here, man. It's going to allow you to do a lot of liquid applications in a short amount of time. Not to mention, in the long run, it's cheaper. Yeah, liquids are cheaper because your pre-emergent you would buy in a 5-pound jug. And let's say you have a smaller yard, 4,000 square foot yard. That 5-pound jug will last you forever. For I think it's like 65 bucks or 70 bucks. You'll have pre-emergent for years to come. And you'll know the rates to put down. All right, so once you get your calibration done, and you figured out how long it takes you to walk that 125 feet and you get good at it, then you want to practice. And I'm going to use the road here, and my yard and the yard over here on the edge on the other side is going to be kind of my boundaries. I'm going to pretend that's, you know, grass. So I'm going to get out here and practice with nothing but water first. So I'm going to get good before I start applying products. I'm going to make sure I'm pretty dang close on everything I'm putting out as far as my calibration and square footage, because you can be off a little bit, but you don't want to be off a whole lot. Now in the pre-emergent video, if you purchase the pre-emergent video, or if you purchase the pre-emergent itself off the website, either way you're going to get an instructional video talking about the rates to use on pre-emergent, how much to use, when to use, that kind of thing. Now, the pre-emergent is the only application I do that I would hard edge everything out. Now you'll learn that in the pre-emergent without getting into too much detail on that, simply because you want more pre-emergent around the edges. We'll show you how to do that in the pre-emergent. But for your biostimulants, fungicides, things like that, you can basically edge out the property. I'm gonna give you a little pretend scenario here. I'm gonna go down the right side, cut across, come down the left and cut across and make a square, and then go right down the middle. And you'll have to get creative when you edge out your own property, because of course you have curves in the beds and you know things like that. You don't have perfect squares. So this will give you a basic idea, and this is a good way to practice and get good at this stuff. Alright, so now you can see I went down this edge, went across, come back, and then filled in the middle. So that should give you a good idea of, you know, when you're applying this stuff, you edge out and then you just walk straight lines. Now when you walk, you remember you're spraying 8 feet wide. So you have to slide over some and allow for just a touch of overlap. Usually if I'm spraying and I'm here, and I'm going down the middle of 8 feet, that's 4 feet. All right, and then I'm gonna slide over roughly 8 feet, and that'll put me back in the middle of my next 4 foot pass, which will allow the 4 foot to throw over to the previous 4 foot, if that makes any sense. A lot of you guys that have been spraying your own yard for a while, you'll pick up on this super quick. Because remember, this nozzle, we're going 8 foot wide with it, and all you have to do is practice a little bit and you'll get the hang of it with no problem. So hope this helped. I hope it was what you was expecting and hoping for, and I'll see you in the next video.